Quiet. It can be hard to find these days. That's not like a radical new conception or idea that I came up with. We all know how busy and noisy our world is. My biggest pet peeve is that I can't go to a restaurant without a TV playing. But you could probably name 15 more yourself pretty easily. What I like to do, and I take this from Tracy, my wife, is that I like to go out to our pool, to our backyard, and sit and drink my morning coffee. And it is quiet out there, unless my neighbor's mowing his lawn, but that happens sometimes. But that kind of quiet is only the lack of noise quiet. There is a deeper kind of quiet that many of us have sought and found, and I believe all of us need. It is that quiet that is sometimes called meditation, contemplation, the words don't matter. It's that time of quiet when we listen deeply to our body, to our heart, to our breath, and we allow ourselves in that time to let go of all the distractions, to let go of all of those things which bring us away from where we are. I found that that kind of quiet does two things for me. One is that it pushes aside the confusions that are around my life, but it also enables me to be more focused on the world around me. I want to talk about quiet today in terms of loss. Loss of, for example, your granddaughter or daughter wanted to get into such and such a school and they didn't get into it. Loss. A friend who wanted a promotion and it didn't get it, really thought they were going to get it, didn't happen. Or maybe they lost their job, or maybe they got the promotion, but that meant they had to go forward and move from one city to another, and they lose maybe closeness with family, certainly closeness with community and friends and congregation they are part of. And so this great gain itself becomes a great loss. And then, of course, there are those losses which are most profound, those more losses that face us with our mortality. The loss of a friend, the loss of a spouse, the loss of a brother, the loss of a child, whatever the loss might be. These losses push us up against the existential grief of what it means to be a mortal human being. There are as many understandings of that reality within this space and on the stream as there are people. In other words, all of us are unique, and all of us comprehend, wrestle with, struggle with, find reconciliation with, even find meaning after the death of someone we love. But the title of this sermon is The Helpless Healer. So I'd like to tell you where that comes from. During my many years of ministry, I presided at many different services and, of course, many different funerals. And I knew that saying things like, "It's God's will," was a pretty stupid thing to say. So I never fell into that trap. But it wasn't until my dad died that I fully experienced the utter and complete emptiness, helplessness, worthlessness of anybody else's words. It kind of took me about 2 days to notice it, but I realized that people who love me very, very, very dearly, people who loved my dad, my siblings, his brother, people who loved him as deeply as I did, no matter what they said, it simply didn't matter. It didn't change anything. There was this sense that they were helpless to help me. And yet I strongly believe, there is a place of healing. That place happens when we sit together with someone who has experienced this kind of loss. A coffee shop, their living room, your living room, and you simply ask a question along the lines of, how are you doing? This must be hard. And then the magic thing. You shut up. You become quiet. But you not only become quiet, you go into that deeper part of yourself that I spoke of earlier. You find that deeper quiet within yourself. And when that deeper quiet has become part of your routine in life, you will find, even without that routine perhaps, probably, you will find a capacity to touch within yourself, to bring forth within yourself, to bring forth to the other, utter acceptance, affirmation, and love. No words. No words. Because the only expert when someone is grieving is not the person sitting in the professional's chair or you or I trying to help a friend. We are not the expert. There's only one expert in the room, and that expert is the person who has experienced the loss. Just as we are unique in how we understand mortality and deal with existential grief, even so we are unique in how we grieve and how we move, sometimes very, very slowly, sometimes painfully, sometimes very, very painfully, into a place of acceptance, and then the ultimate rediscovery, meaning. To go from that deep pain to a place of meaning. I testify to you. You know that I lost Justin. You know I will never live the same, and my normal is new. But I testify to you that one can, even with a loss too profound to express, one can find new meaning. I have been so gifted, and for those of you who know people who are mourning or who are yourself mourning the loss of mobility, mourning the loss of sight, mourning whatever, that there always is open to us a new place of meaning, provided we are blessed to be among those who know themselves to be helpless healers.